originally 6 episodes, The Invasion of Time. Now, the Doctor's off to Gallifrey, his home planet, with Leela. Now, how come Leela can go, but Sarah Jane couldn't? I'd rather have tea with her than Leela any day. There are lots of things in this that sort of make you go... I can't say too much for the few who haven't seen it, but it's Leela's final story, and the way she leaves is ridiculous. And the Vardans, who are the aliens, look just like... Well, let's just say it'll remind you to put your Sunday roast in the oven. Sorry about the technical problems that we had during that programme, and I hope that it didn't spoil your enjoyment too much. Next week's Doctor Who Omnibus here on UK Gold brings Mary Tam into the Doctor Who series, The Reboss Operation. That's part 1 of the Key to Time season. And coming...
Classic sci-fi drama. It's the Omnibus edition of Doctor Who.
Time for Doctor Who now in the Vortex, as the Doctor and Leela come to the rescue of a doomed planet. This is Underworld, and please try to ignore the ridiculous robots. And it's no surprise to hear that when this character was first introduced, many dads who had always switched it off, you know, after the grandstand, suddenly took a great interest in Doctor Who. After all, she is only wearing a skimpy leather costume.
Doctor Who returns to fight another day next Sunday morning at 9:15. On its way to UK Gold after the break, the Dallas Omnibus.
That's what I said. It's a very adult story, this. I don't mean rude, I just mean that some of the jokes will be lost on the youngsters. This is episode 1 of The Sunmakers. And the story continues at the same time tomorrow. Coming up next tonight, it's Home to Roost. What is Villa from Blake 7 doing in it? Actually, this is the role that led to him being cast as Villa, so I've heard. And it fits in. This went out originally in December 77, and Blake 7 went to air the following year. What? What? Now, I've had a phone call from a Joe Warren, who says, for the last couple of nights, there have been monsters lurking around me, and I must be blind not to see them. Well, really, Joe, I think you must be going mad, because I've gone over this studio with a fine-tooth comb, and I can assure you that I've seen no evidence to prove that extraterrestrial life is here. Sorry. I do know that you've been too busy watching what's going on behind me this week instead of what I've been saying. It's time for Doctor Who now. And episode 4 of The Sunmakers. So settle down and put your feet up as we join the Doctor and Leela fighting for their lives.
Doctor Who returns to fight another day next Sunday morning at 9:15. On its way to UK Gold after the break, the Dallas Omnibus.
And the Doctor returns to Gold on Sunday morning for a complete story in the omnibus The Horns of Nimon at 10:35. And there's a Doctor Who special next Thursday at midnight, looking at 30 years in the TARDIS. Coming up next tonight on Gold, nearly as many years as a parent and the...
They've got to do battle with those lumpy tin cans with sink plungers stuck to their heads, but he has to put up with Joe Grant as well. Oh dear.
An altogether more dangerous instrument is swapped for a sax. Danny Boy, our movie round midnight, next tonight on UK Gold. There's machines with severe psychological problems, the Daleks.
There are several ways that you can stop Daleks from killing you. The easiest way was, of course, to run up a flight of stairs, but the ones that are most successful involve someone running in at the crucial moment and shouting, "No! Stop!" or "Wait!" as you'll see in the final episode of Day of the Daleks. Tomorrow we start a new Doctor Who story. Stay with us for more details. The hunt begins for the keys of Marinus.
And we take another trip with the Time Lord on UK Gold at 9:15 next Sunday. We've hot gossip and cold shoulders coming up in Knots Landing.
Well, the coordinates are set for the Titan space station now in the Vortex, where the Doctor and Leela are about to meet a Professor Marius, whose best friend and longtime companion just happens to be a robot dog called K9. Unfortunately, it's one of those stories that you can't take seriously. The sets look cheap, the guns look false, lots of bad special effects. Although the basic story is very good, and it's worth watching just for K9's debut and the giant prawn. Yes, a giant prawn. Anyway, that's it for now. Enjoy it, and keep your eyes open for Grange Hill's Mr. Bronson. Yes, I know, again. He's been in lots of Doctor Who's. I think the producer must have been a relative. Next week's Doctor Who omnibus is Image of the Fendal, which features, among other people, Wanda Ventham and Coronation Street's Don Brennan. And tonight, time to join the Doctor now on UK Gold, and it's all a question of who's who. Next week's Doctor Who omnibus is the first to feature companion Adric, and is also the first of the E-Space trilogy. That's Full Circle next week at 11:05. In a few minutes, this week's movie is Magnum, following some music from the lovely Spice Girls. In another universe, that's this morning's Doctor Who story, Full Circle. Before that, we join the crew of the Liberator as a voice from the past haunts Blake. We swap the Liberator for the TARDIS and join the Doctor and Romana next.
More from Doctor Who later here on UK Gold at 11:10. And the sci-fi drama continues before that with Blake 7 after the break.
Now in the Vortex, what can I say about this Doctor Who story that I haven't said before? It's very emotional, insofar as this was the final story before the recent Paul McGann movie. It features appearances by Hale and Pace, yes, the comedians. Anthony Ainley gives his best performance as the Master, and there's a brilliant line in it when a girl runs up to Ace and says, "I thought you died, or gone to Birmingham." This is how it all ended. Survival. That was the last of the original series to be made by the BBC, but don't worry, next week in the Vortex at 11:10, Tom Baker returns with his very first story, Robot.